China just issued a bold warning that the United States Air Force cannot afford to ignore. This is through a weapon that's so advanced, it shakes the foundations of modern air power. That's the J-20, also known as the Mighty Dragon. The J-20 has taken flight, and it's louder, faster, and more formidable than ever. From the extended range and high-power engine to the long-range missiles and sensor superiority, the J-20 is a signal that the skies are entering a new era, and the days of uncontested American dominance may be slipping away. J-20, extended range threatens US. The roar of the Chengdu J-20 echoes far beyond China's shores, and for the United States Air Force, that roar carries a warning that they can no longer ignore. The J-20 isn't just another fighter jet added to Beijing's fleet, but its extended reach transforms it into a weapon that can strike at the vital heart of American power projection long before U.S. warplanes can even take aim. Built with large internal fuel reserves and engineered for endurance, the J-20 boasts an estimated combat radius of about 1,200 miles. This is a range that outpaces many contemporary fifth-generation jets. In practical terms, this means a lone J-20 could launch far from Chinese soil and threaten America's aerial fighters. Like tanker aircraft that refuel fighters, early warning platforms like AWACS, and airborne reconnaissance or surveillance assets. These are the very tools that allow U.S. carrier strike groups and land-based fighters to dominate a contested sky. If those support aircraft are neutralized, the backbone of U.S. power projection in the Pacific begins to crack. The Pacific is vast, and when you throw in long distances between bases, islands, and operating areas, endurance and reach become far more vital than raw speed. The J-20's extended range shifts air combat from short skirmishes near coastlines to deep penetration strikes stretching hundreds of miles into the Pacific expanse. China's strategic calculus is clear. With a fighter built for range and endurance, America's advantages tied to carrier-based power and aerial support networks are variable. That's because the J-20 can threaten the aerial lifelines that sustain them. Looking at the J-20's fuel capacity, long-range missile payload, and design philosophy, it's clear that there's a shift in air power strategy. What's more, the Mighty Dragon has given China a stronger defense, keeping its senses highly superior. Sensor superiority increases China's defense. More than just speed and stealth, the Chengdu J-20 represents a mind-bending leap in how China sees the sky. Recent breakthroughs in radar and sensor architecture have transformed the Mighty Dragon into a flying brain that can outsee, outtrack, and outfight stealth aircraft that America once believed were untouchable. China has made upgrades to the J-20's radar, powered by a new domestically developed silicon carbide semiconductor. This has roughly tripled its detection range. At its core lies an active electronically scanned array radar, which is often called the KLJ-5 or Type 1 475 radar. Alongside this, there's a full suite of electro-optical and infrared search and track, distributed aperture sensors, and sophisticated data link and electronic warfare systems. This complex set of sensors and electronics allows the J-20 to detect, track, and target multiple threats at once. The J-20 can quietly, passively, and from hundreds of kilometers away target threats and at the same time share its battlefield picture across a network of other aircraft, drones, and command centers. Imagine an enemy stealth jet slicing across contested airspace and confident in its invisibility, as the U.S. is in its fighter jets. The J-20 already sees it, knows its vector, and hands that data off to allied drones or missile batteries before the enemy even perceives a threat. This kind of sensor superiority transforms aerial combat from brute force into information dominance. In a modern battlefield where data flows faster than bullets, the J-20 is a command node that can strike first, leaving America's sixth-generation fighters in the mud. The J-20 has sensors that allow it to engage long-range, beyond visual range threats without any dogfight tactics, and instead with precision and coordination. With long-range missiles, such as the PL-15 fitted on the J-20, the aircraft can lock and fire while remaining undetected. Fascinated by next-gen military tech like this? Hit that like and subscribe button to catch all the latest military news. Fitted with long-range missiles that outclass the U.S., the Chengdu J-20 carries a PL-15 missile and signifies a game-changing shift in how China can wage air war. This long-range radar-guided weapon turns the J-20 from a stealth fighter into a silent reaper that can strike from well beyond the horizon. It can strike at distances over 200 kilometers and perhaps reach 300 kilometers under ideal conditions. What sets the PL-15 apart is its active radar homing seeker combined with a dual-pulse solid rocket motor and mid-course data link. This architecture allows the missile to be loosed toward a distant target, then corrected mid-flight via data from airborne radar or command platforms. This means that the launching aircraft can remain passive and stealthy while the missile homes in. This capability presents a stark contrast to the traditional air-to-air missiles carried by the U.S. That includes the widely used AIM-120 AMRAAM family and the latest AIM-120D variant. The AIM-120 series has long been the backbone of U.S. fighter missile armament and has an effective engagement range well below the top estimates for the PL-15. Historically, AMRAAM missiles have had engagement ranges that are much shorter than the PL-15's top estimates. A typical AIM-120 engagement ranges around 100 to 100 kilometers under realistic combat conditions. In practical terms, a J-20 launching PL-15S might engage American fighters, tankers, AWACS, or support aircraft from standoff ranges where U.S. jets, even stealth fighters, cannot effectively retaliate. The potential for first strike advantage, aided by radar stealth and long-range missiles, shifts the dynamic in warfare to long-distance, high-tech exchanges, where detection, range, and network targeting count more than maneuverability. Unlike the older missile duels that relied on closing the gap or visual range engagements, this setup puts China in a position where the opening salvo comes from far out. This happens long before the American pilot even knows a missile was launched. The U.S. has recognized this gap and is working on next-generation solutions. For instance, the ongoing development of the AIM-260 JATM missile aims to close the BVR range deficit by offering a longer range, more advanced counter to long-range threats like the PL-15. In aerial encounters that are powered by information, speed, and surprise, the PL-15 gives China a potent first strike advantage. It has a leading range, guidance systems, and the ability to operate with stealth-equipped platforms, turning the sky into a zone where air superiority is king. But to make the J-20 Mighty Dragon even more powerful, it's powered by a groundbreaking engine that is expected to dominate the skies. J-20's engine power. The thunder beneath the wings of the Chengdu J-20 has grown deeper thanks to the arrival of the Shenyang WS-15 engine. This engine is far more than an upgrade, but it's the key that might unlock the J-20's full potential, dramatically boosting speed, range, and combat endurance, and challenging the performance of top U.S. fighters at their core. The WS-15 is designed as an afterburning turbofan, purpose-built for the J-20, and can deliver a thrust on the order of 36,000 pounds with afterburner. At full performance, it handles up to 40,000 pounds. This marks a major leap over the engines previously used on early J-20s, such as the interim Shenyang WS-10C, which produced roughly 142 to 147 kilonewtons. And while capable, it lacked the power and efficiency needed to fully unlock the aircraft's design promise. What the WS-15 brings isn't just raw thrust, but is what engineers call supercruise, and the ability to sustain supersonic flight without even engaging afterburners. That means the J-20 can travel faster and farther while reducing fuel consumption, infrared signature, and thermal stress. All of these are needed in a real combat scenario. By comparison, one of America's premier fifth-generation fighter engines, the Pratt & Whitney F119, which powers the F-22 Raptor, produces thrust in the 35,000-pound class per engine. The F119 also enables supercruise and gives the F-22 exceptional maneuverability thanks to thrust vectoring nozzles. With two WS-15 engines installed on the J-20, the cumulative thrust under ideal conditions could exceed what many current stealth fighters enjoy, possibly surpassing even that of the F-22 in absolute power output. The increased power will support faster acceleration and higher sustained speeds, and provide excess power to operate advanced sensors, avionics, and future weapons, while offering both versatility and upgrade capacity. The shift to WS-15 also carries strategic implications. With greater thrust and supercruise capability, the J-20 becomes a long-range, rapid response platform that can project power deeper into contested airspace. Where older engines limited the J-20's reach and agility, the WS-15 promises to redefine what the jet can do. It can fly faster, strike farther, and circle back for another sortie without burning through fuel or sacrificing stealth. As the J-20 could tilt the balance in high-stakes aerial contests, China is now speeding up production of the aircraft to overpower the United States. China speeds up production to dominate the U.S. The rise of the Chengdu J-20 Mighty Dragon is leading an industrial surge. Over the past years, the jet has moved from experimental prototype to production centerpiece. And by late 2025, China's Air Force publicly celebrated the induction of the 300th J-20. This milestone signals that J-20 production isn't limited, but it will become a mass production juggernaut. In fact, the program is churning out on the order of 70 to 100 J-20 airframes per year, a rate made possible by streamlining pulse line assembly techniques and a tightly integrated defense industrial infrastructure. The pace and scale of this rollout are strategic. A stealth fighter becomes far more than a high-tech toy when hundreds of them enter service in a relatively short span. As each new aircraft joins the fleet, the operational calculus shifts. Since there will be hundreds of J-20s, China will be able to create formations spread across multiple brigades, provide redundancy, saturate defense zones, and ensure that losses could be replaced quickly. By flooding the airspace with modern fighters, China reduces the relative value of each individual loss. It increases the risk and cost for any opponent that wants to engage in air operations over contested zones. What's more, the industrial momentum behind the J-20 suggests that the ambition isn't modest. Beijing's own targets envision a fleet of well over 1,000 J-20s by the early to mid-2030s, transforming the Mighty Dragon into the backbone of a vast, stealth-capable air force. With numeric strength, China can dramatically improve its strategic balance. A sprawling fleet means China can rotate aircraft without shortage, maintain wide geographic coverage across its theater commands, and sustain pressure over large maritime and territorial zones, even across the Indo-Pacific region. What was once a handful of advanced jets will become a full-scale fleet that can contend with the United States. China is speeding up production to end America's long-held numerical edge in advanced fighters. With its advanced features and numbers, the J-20 is ready to lead the future. China's J-20 is ready for future warfare. The Chengdu J-20S signals a transformation in how air war might be fought in the future. Introduced into service in 2025, this twin-seat variant of the Chengdu J-20S represents a new doctrine rooted in network-centric warfare, human-machine teaming, and multi-domain coordination. In the rear cockpit of the J-20S, there's a mission systems officer, which is more like a command node with eyes on sensors, data links, electronic warfare systems, and unmanned aerial vehicles. Instead of demanding that the pilot juggle every task, the J-20S splits the cognitive load. The front seat pilot handles flight and immediate combat decisions, while the second operator will manage battlefield awareness, target assignment, electronic emission control, and orchestrating loyal wingman drones. What's more, as it's made for the future, the J-20S is optimized for manned-unmanned teaming. It can coordinate with stealth drones, such as those from the Loyal Wingman program, directing surveillance, electronic suppression, and even strike operations, all while preserving its own stealth. In effect, the J-20S have become a force multiplier. It's a stealth fighter, an electronic warfare node, and a drone command center rolled into one. This shows that China is no longer depending on traditional air combat, but is moving toward a future built on sensors, networks, automation, and distributed firepower. The J-20S leverages internal weapons bays, advanced avionics, secure data links, and integrated sensors so that in contested airspace, it can simultaneously control drones, manage emissions, direct strikes, gather intelligence, and coordinate with other assets. Now, China is ready to start deploying its J-20S, displaying a readiness to deter the United States from its territories. China's deployment and readiness. The deployment of the Chengdu J-20 across China's theater commands is happening right now, and that carries a weight that's far beyond numbers. By mid-2024, the People's Liberation Army Air Force had inducted around 195 J-20 aircraft through a rapid expansion. Over the last year alone, more than 70 airframes were added to the fleet. This surge reflects production capacity and strategic prioritization. This expansion also translates into wide geographic coverage. J-20 units now operate under multiple brigades across all 5 of China's theater commands, including Northern, Eastern, Southern, Central, and Western. That means the stealth fighter isn't confined to a single region, but it has been dispersed broadly and is ready to respond whether needed. Even more important, China has already achieved some milestones with the J-20. In 2024, the Joint Sword 2024A and its follow-up Joint Sword 2024B exercises mobilized air, sea, rocket, and Coast Guard forces around the island of Taiwan, and J-20 areas played a prominent role. Their maneuvers involved coordinated sorties, simulated strikes, blockage scenarios, and joint air-sea operations. It demonstrated coordination, readiness, and the intent to integrate the J-20 into broader warfighting plans. Patrols carrying J-20s have become more routine and aggressive. Platform formations, including J-20s, now regularly cross traditional maritime or aerial boundaries, such as the median line of the Taiwan Strait. They are mostly found in sensitive airspace around Taiwan and beyond. This pattern suggests a new global readiness standard, where stealth fighters aren't held in reserve, but are active tools in shaping regional air-sea dynamics. With the rapid production and dispersed deployment, China is demonstrating the J-20 as a backbone of its modern Air Force. But the U.S. isn't sitting back and waiting for China to win. America's Air Force is responding with the swift development of sixth-generation fighters. The U.S. responds with sixth-generation fighters. As China's stealth fighters threaten to dominate the skies, America is quietly but deliberately preparing its next generation of air power. Under the banner of next-generation air dominance, the U.S. is forging a new breed of air combat platforms meant to match and leap ahead. The centerpiece of this movement is the Boeing F-47. The F-47 isn't a lone fighter. It works more like a command ship or a full combat system. It has a planned combat radius of over 1,000 nautical miles, giving it far more reach than today's fifth-generation jets. According to the U.S. Air Force, the F-47 will fly faster than Mach 2 and push deep into contested territory, striking or gathering intelligence, while staying far enough away from shorter-range threats to remain safe. But range and speed are only a part of the redesign. The sixth generation aims to fuse stealth, sensor dominance, and network warfare. The F-47 can operate alongside unmanned wingmen, drones designed to scout, jam, decoy, and strike under its direction. This manned-unmanned teaming concept turns every sortie into a coordinated swarm where the human pilot calls the shots while AI-guided drones execute high-risk or complex tasks. In this vision, the fighter becomes brain, not just brawn. Stealth remains, but Air Force leaders have introduced Stealth Double Plus, with next-level radar-evading materials and design optimized for future threats, while sensors, electronic warfare suites, and modular weapon systems ensure adaptability in a fast-evolving battlefield. Aside from air-to-air combat, the F-47 is designed with modularity and open architecture in mind. It can evolve rapidly, integrating new missiles, communication systems, and even directed energy weapons or improved avionics as threats change. Behind NGAD, the U.S. Navy is also pursuing the F/A-XX program, which aims to field a carrier-based sixth-generation fighter to replace legacy jets. Whether at sea or on hand, the new generation is meant to restore and preserve American air dominance under conditions where volume, range, stealth, and network systems all matter. Even as China has emerged with the Mighty Dragon, the Chengdu J-20, countries around the world are wondering what this means for China's military situation. This sends a clear message to the U.S. about China's capabilities and threatens America's Air Force's position as one of the leading air powers in the world. Do you think the U.S. can overshadow China once its new sixth-generation fighters emerge? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all global military events.